Nina Vetter, your city manager, here for another Facebook Live, usually with our police chief, but today we have a very special guest with us. We have Ava, who's one of our new community safety specialists. Thank you for joining today.
Of course,
Ava.
I'm glad to be here.
Yay. So if you hadn't heard, the city recently launched a new community safety specialist program. We were able to do this using one-time ARPA dollars, that's American Rescue Plan Act dollars, from the federal government. So our council approved the use of these dollars to fund 2 community safety specialists for our community. And we were able to hire 2 wonderful people this summer to launch the program. So we wanted to spend some time today talking about what that program is, how that provides additional safety to our community, why it's beneficial, and of course get to learn a little bit more about you and your experience here working for the police department. So we'll start with kind of what are community safety specialists, what's the main purpose they serve, what do you see as your primary role, and how are they beneficial to the city?
Yeah, thank you so much for having me, Nina. So I'm super excited to be in this position. These positions we started on May 2nd of this summer, and the role is really to support community in getting their needs met in a timely and efficient manner. Especially those needs that are non-emergencies. So we're talking about things like stolen vehicle reports, identity theft, minor property damage, things that really don't involve suspects. So, our officers, unfortunately, our department is short-staffed like many departments across the state and the nation. And it really helps our officers by being able to respond to those non-emergencies so they can focus on things that are involving suspects and life-threatening situations. And so that way community members are also having their needs met in a timely manner and not having to wait for an officer available to respond to those. So yeah, we're super great, to be here. And I think it's really good to have sort of that position that bridges that gap. I think a lot of community members throughout the country, but especially here in Oregon, value the safety services provided by the department. But we do have a segment of community that, does feel uncomfortable at times talking to someone in a police uniform. And so I think our position is also helpful in that, we're not in a full, vest and things of that nature. My personal background is in social work. And so we're able to spend more time with people and talking about their issues that they're having in ways that, officers don't have that luxury because they're having to get to the next emergency call right away. We're typically based here in the office and have been. Since we've started, we're looking at possibly having us go into the community down the road and having a dedicated vehicle for that. So things like picking up surveillance footage from, apartments where maybe someone had a stolen video or a stolen car. Or potentially picking up video from a store where they had a shoplifting incident. Things that are challenging for shop owners and community members to do, but things that really don't rise to the level of an officer having to respond to right away. So.
Yeah. Wow, you do a lot. I'm so glad we hired you. Like that is a lot of things on 2 people's plates. But sounds like it's been really helpful, for the officers, and we have gotten some really great feedback that having safety specialists has really helped them alleviate some of this time doing things somebody else can be doing so they can be out responding to those emergency calls where an officer is needed and also directly helping the community too. So great to hear that. You mentioned you started in May. And we know summer is always busy, especially here in Gresham. A lot of special events going on. It's just a busy time of year. People are out, using our parks and all of that. So if you could share with us a little bit about, what you had going on this summer, what your experience was like starting in this position, and just how your summer was.
Yeah, so it's a new position for Gresham Police Department. So the training was custom and brand new. And I think, they had to really tailor it to the unique properties of the position itself. But it really looked like, sitting with BOEC for one day and learning about Bureau of Emergency Communications. They're the ones who dispatch calls to all the different agencies, fire, medical, and police agencies throughout the county. So learning about how that works, doing ride-alongs with the various police officers in various shifts to understand what kinds of calls are they responding to, what are the needs that the community are calling for help about. Sitting along, in our records department, there's a whole lot that goes on behind the scenes that, our police aren't doing themselves. They write up the report, they're responding in person, but there's a whole lot behind the scenes that happens to get things documented correctly. So understanding what that role is like, and we're looking at possibly, having a sit along with our criminal analysts. They're the ones who do a lot of the evidence and property and examining crime scenes, kind of that exciting CSI work you imagine on TV. So yeah, so I'm excited for that maybe happening.
That sounds cool. Yeah, and I appreciate you bringing up all those areas, because sometimes when we think of police, we just think of officers, and we don't think of all the other people that it takes.
There's a ton of administration to support that work.
Absolutely, and all the criminalists, and there's so much behind the scenes work that is so critical to everything our police department does. It really is more than just officers, though we greatly appreciate them.
Yeah.
And you're part of this bigger system now.
Yeah, and the other piece of the training, I think there was a lot of emphasis placed on safety for this position. As community safety specialists, where our role is not to interact with suspects, but we might potentially be put in a situation that could be unsafe, or a surprise threat of some kind. And so part of that training was learning how to just be safe, how to understand our surroundings, how to call for help if need be, and in worst case scenario, how to defend ourselves in a way that we can get away, or just preserve ourselves.
Do you have any moves you could teach Nina?
Yes, I could use some tips.
I think anyone in public office should know some tips.
Maybe that should be a standard training for all of us.
Yes, anyone working in a city capacity probably should. So, but summer was great. After training occurred, we had some great, what I call mentors here at the station, really experienced officers who helped us learn how to write reports, how to understand the types of calls that we can take, what types of calls maybe we started out taking, but maybe need to elevate to an officer response. So it's been really fantastic having that level of support, and also just excellent training that's been provided by our department. The other pieces that I've really enjoyed over the summer is just the community engagement stuff. So we did Dog Days of Summer, which I took my daughter to, and it was her favorite thing. So, TAG and all the great canine units came, and it was just super fantastic. That was probably my favorite event. Went to a couple of neighborhood association events that were a lot of fun, and just meeting community members and getting to talk with kids and answer questions just about what this new role is like and what our purpose is. So I love that aspect of it a lot.
Oh, it's always fun being out with the community.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite.
Yes, same. I love it too, especially when there's fun going on and people are getting together and chatting.
And especially post-COVID, it feels nice that the community's coming back together after not having had that for so long. So. And that was continued with Rock the Block and other things too. So
yeah, it was busy summer.
Yeah.
So that's cool. Love it. Well, so we transitioned into fall, sort of, but it's sunny out today and lovely. Thinking about that. So we're in the nice part of fall. Let's hope it sticks around for a while. But you talked about coming up soon. You hope to spend some time with the crime analysts and get all CSI on us. But what else are you looking forward to in the next few months or in the next year, learning or doing as a community safety specialist?
Well, like I said, so far we've been based here at the station and mostly doing calls over the phone or responding to lobby walk-ins. And our lobby is only open Monday through Friday currently. So we are looking at potentially, as summer wraps up and our park ambassador program closes down for the winter, potentially using that vehicle so we can go out into the community and be more available that way as well.
Well, that'll be really great.
Yeah.
That'd be a good experience to actually have you all in the community on a regular basis and have a vehicle in which you can do so.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Very exciting. I always love to end with this question when we're talking to new people here at the city. What do you love most about working for the city so far? Sounds like you've had some great training and some great mentors. But generally, just what do you enjoy about working for the city?
I love the culture, both of the city, but also
Mhm.
specifically this department. You know,
Mhm.
I come from a social work background, which compared to what one thinks of a department,
Mhm.
especially a police department, it's very feely, hands-on, everybody hugging. You're meeting people at the most vulnerable parts of their life,
Yeah.
oftentimes in social work. And it's really no different here at the police department. People are calling us at a very low point, potentially in their life, or at least for that moment. And our role, whether you're an officer or front desk person in records, or me as a community safety specialist, is to wrap your arms around them, and make them feel heard and valued. And maybe you can't fix their issue, but you can connect them with resources. You can make them feel like they're a valued member of the community. And I think the culture and values of Gresham support that. So that's what I love most.
Oh, that's beautiful. Thank you for sharing that. I love that personally. Well, thank you so much for being our special guest today. So glad you've joined the city. We're so glad we have launched our Community Safety Specialist program. Thanks to our one-time ARPA funding. We're glad to have this resource that really does supplement the work that our police department is already doing. It is really critically needed for our internal police department, but also for our community to be more responsive. So we're so excited about this program that we got up and running, and we hope that you are too, community. Thanks for tuning in for another edition of Facebook Live with Nina. As always, if you want to learn more about what the city is up to and what's happening next, please follow us on social media or check out our website. I also put in a plug. If you want to learn more about what our whole police department is doing and how we're tackling safety in our community, you can check out our Safe Gresham website to learn more about the initiatives that we've undertaken in the last 2 years. It's quite a lot. We've made some really big investments and some really big improvements over the last 2 years. So please check out the Safe Gresham website if you want to learn more, and stay safe and healthy. And we hope to see y'all soon. Thanks.